Support for the Indigenous Voice to Parliament has slumped to new lows, with every state except Tasmania poised to vote no, while Anthony Albanese's performance rating plummets. The most recent Resolve Political Monitor survey, published in 9 newspapers on Monday, showed 43% of voters supported a plan to enshrine an Indigenous voice into the Constitution, down 20 percentage points from a year ago. In the past month, the percentage of voters who are certain about voting no has risen from 33% to 37%, whereas the percentage of those who say they will probably vote no remains unchanged at 12%. The poll has 16% of voters as undecided. The percentage of Australians in favour of the referendum has dropped for the 5th month in a row, and since the last survey, Victoria has flipped to a majority no state, leaving Tasmania the only jurisdiction left in the yes camp. For the Voice to succeed, the yes campaign will require more than 50% of the vote across the nation and in 4 of the 6 states. Support for the Indigenous Voice to Parliament has fallen along with support for Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, pictured in the latest poll. Mr. Albanese and Labour have also taken a hit in the poll, with the Prime Minister dropping to -7% in net performance. However, he is still far ahead as preferred Prime Minister compared to opposition leader Peter Dutton. About 43% of voters chose Mr. Albanese as preferred Prime Minister, while 28% backed Mr. Dutton. Meanwhile, about 29% were undecided. This represents a slight narrowing of the gap compared to the previous poll, which had Mr. Albanese at 46% and Mr. Dutton at 25%. Resolve director Jim Reid claimed the results showed support for the no campaign was still growing, and that the recent ad campaign featuring John Farnham's iconic song, "You're the Voice," did little for the yes camp. The more people engage in the debate, and the more they consider the proposal, the more they are put off, he said. The comments we collect from respondents are becoming more exasperated and frustrated in their tone as the campaign wears on. Many people seem impatient for this to be over, especially those who see it as a diversion or divisive. Tasmania is now the only state where the yes vote is ahead, with voters in every other state preferencing the no camp, pictured. Minister for Indigenous Australians Linda Burney, Centre, at a Yes 23 event on the Gold Coast. Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek said there were still many undecided voters who could be convinced when she was asked about the results of the poll. "We're going to ask them to vote yes because this acknowledges 65,000 years of Australian history," she told 7 Sunrise on Monday. This idea came from Aboriginal people, well over 80% of them support it. "This is not a committee that has a veto over Parliament. It doesn't stop things happening. It is a committee to give advice." It really is a lot less scary than some of the no campaign are making it out to be. However, critics of the referendum, including Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce, claim the Voice lacks transparency. "It will fundamentally change how this nation works, and that is why people are moving away from it," he said. The Resolve Political Monitor surveyed 1604 eligible voters. The Voice referendum will be held on October 14. Mr. Dutton has pledged to hold a second referendum if the upcoming vote fails, and should the coalition be returned to power.